Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 9. I am Janice Cobham. Then Tinubu writes now seeks 500 billion naira for palliatives. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino pays thank you visit to Ikotipene Senatorial District. These stories and more in a moment. A very good evening to you and welcome to the news at 9. First in a bulletin tonight is a report that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has written to the national 100 billion naira for palliatives to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. In a letter read on the floor of the House during today's plenary by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, the President said the money billion naira. The Speaker said the House will consider the President's request at plenary on Thursday and asked members. Bola Tinubu today met with the class of 1999 governors at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. President Tinubu is also a member of the set of governors, which was the first set of elected governors of the current democratic dispensation, also known as the Fourth Republic. Those present in the meeting Ekiti, Lucky Gbinadian Edo, Oji Uzokalu Abia, Sam Egu Ebonyi. Others are Chimaroke Namani Enugu, Ibrahim Samino Turaki Jigawa, Adamu Muazu Bauchi, Victor Atta Akwa Ibom, Olusegun Oshoba Ogun, Bisi Akonde, Oshun Ahmed Yerima Zamfara, Jolly Nyame Taraba, at Tahiru. Meantime now, the Vice President Kashim Shettima has called on the Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas and other principal officers of the lower chambers of the National Assembly to support President Bola Tinubu's administration. He made the call while receiving members of the House at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Shettima observed that the state of affairs in the country requires the cooperation of all citizens of the Tinubu administration and its noble objective of transforming the nation. According to him, the president is determined to redefine the meaning and concept of modern leadership. In a separate development, Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, as global advisor to assist GEAPP's mission of accelerating clean energy deployment in developing countries. According to a statement announcing the appointment of the company's website, Osinbajo will support GEAPP's partnership with governments to enhance the enabling environment. The statement added that the former vice president will also continue his activity as a leading advocate for just energy transitions in Africa, including scaling up. In his remarks, Osinbajo said he is honored by the opportunity to join the movement for green energy access. Kanu Abuja Road is the reason for the slow pace of construction work on that axis. The permanent secretary in the ministry, Mahmudu, following the improved security situation. He added that the contractor handling the project had promised to complete the entire project within the given timeline. The man explained that the ministry embarked on the familiarization journey from the Abuja-Kaduna-Kanu Expressway purposely to monitor the progress made so time frame. Value-added tax VAT in Nigeria as the lowest in the West African region. While describing the development as worrisome, the government stressed the need for a change in policies, noting that the country's VAT rate was less than 1% to the gross domestic product (GDP). The Director of Tax Policies in the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Bashir Abdul Kadir, raised the concern at the opening event of the stated that exemptions of VAT in Nigeria was not aligned with those of ECOWAS, called for the exemption of few products goods and services from VAT for poor households to benefit from VAT policies. In the meantime, the federal government has said that the switch from the use of premium commercial vehicle operators in Nigeria. It disclosed this in a document put together by the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology (NITT), where it explains that a typical commercial auto gas, not petrol. The NITT noted that with the deployment and usage of auto gas, as also championed by all marketers, the cost being spent by motorists on petrol will drop significantly. Have congratulated President Bola Tinubu on his emergence as the chairman of the Economic Community of West African States (ECOWAS). It could be recalled that Tinubu emerged at the recently concluded 63rd Ordinary Session of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of ECOWAS in Bissau, Guinea-Bissau. The congratulatory message was sequel to a motion moved by the Deputy Senate President Jibrin Barau on his very first participation, showed that the sub-regional body had reposed great confidence in his leadership qualities. And meanwhile, the Senate has commended President Bola Tinubu over his decision to end the fuel subsidy administration. Fabio, who spoke during plenary, urged Tinubu to ensure urgent implement. Patrick Ndubueze moved the motion titled "Need to Investigate the Controversial Huge Expenditure on Premium Motor Spirit PMS under the Subsidy Recovery Regime" by the NNPCL. Ruling on the motion after deliberation and contributions by members on the floor of the Senate, Fabio received the approval of his colleagues to formally commend Tinubu on his courageous decision to stop the payment of subsidy on PMS. The lawmakers, however, called on the president to ensure that the planned palliatives intended are put in place to cushion the effects of the removal of the subsidy. In the meantime, now the Senate has set in motion moves to probe all subsidy under the recovery regime operated by the federal government till May 29, 2023, the regime by the federal government from January 2021 to June 2023, just as it sought living wage for workers as a way to cushioning the effect of subsidy removal. The Red Chambers equally called for the establishment of 3 functional refineries for local production and distribution of refined petrol, with a view to bringing down the pump price from its standing committees on petroleum downstream, petroleum upstream, and finance should, when constituted, carry out a holistic investigation on all controversies surrounding subsidy and under-recovery regime. From the Green Chambers now, the House of Tajuddin Abbas at the plenary noted that the panel is made up of both members of the majority and minority caucuses. The Speaker also stated that the immediate past chairman of the House Committee on Defense, Babajimi Benson, would co-chair the committee. The members of the committee include the majority leader now, Julius Ihovere Umi Onanuga, among others. On judicial matters, the Federal High Court in Abuja has dismissed the suit filed by Smarter Day for the Kogi State governorship election scheduled for November 2023. Adeyemi, a former lawmaker representing Kogi West Senatorial District, had approached the Federal High Court seeking to nullify the governorship primary election the All Progressives Congress APC held in the state held that Adeyemi did not prove his allegation that Ododo was not lawfully nominated by the APC and did not, by way of credible evidence, establish his allegation. The court held that, contrary to the position of the plaintiff, there was evidence that the primary election was validly held and monitored by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), adding that the allegations the plaintiff raised in the suit were criminal in nature and therefore ought to be proved beyond reasonable doubt. We move now to education, where a total of 6 students have scored 0-1 in the 2023 National Common Entrance Examinations conducted by the National Examination Council, NECO. The Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Education, Andrew Adejo, made this known while giving a breakdown of scores in Abuja today. Adejo said a total of 72,865 pupils registered for the examination compared to the 71,738 for 2022, with Lagos State having the highest number of 18,644 and Taraba with the lowest of 102. According to him, 3,036 pupils were absent, while 76 pupils. In another development, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has formally flagged off a free transport intervention scheme to mitigate the economic challenges faced by residents of the state as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy. Speaking during the flag-off at the Rivers State Transport Complex in Port Harcourt, Governor Fubara said the state government under his watch was aware and concerned by the difficulties the fuel subsidy removal has caused the populace, which necessitated the decision to initiate the intervention. The governor, who was represented by his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu, noted that the introduction of the free transport scheme was in line with the social contract his administration has with the Rivers people who gave him the mandate to serve. We move down to Borno State, where Governor Babagana Umara Zulum has approved the appointment of Nigeria's former Minister of State for Agriculture and Rural Development, Bukar Tijani, as Secretary to Borno State Government. The governor has also governor's spokesperson Isa Gusua in a statement issued today. The statement noted that Zulum considered Tijani's very high-level experience from his services as minister from July 2011 to September 2013 and as Assistant Secretary General, Assistant Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. 62-year Tijani was born in Damasak, Albert Hills, from Dikwa local government area of Borno State. The former minister holds a Master of Science degree in Tropical Agricultural Development from the In another development, the Taraba State House of Assembly has cleared Governor Agbu Kafis's 21 commissioners nominees for appointment as members of the state's Executive Council. According to reports, Nelson Lan, the chairman of the House Committee on Information, who addressed newsmen after the legislature's plenary today in Jalingo, said that all the nominees were cleared after being screened by the House. Len also gave assurance that the law. To Edo State now, where the House of Assembly has confirmed the appointment of Justice Daniel Okumbuwa as Chief Judge of the state. The nominee was screened and cleared by the House Committee on Rules and Business and that of Judiciary, led by the Majority Leader Charity. Governor Godwin Obaseki had, in a letter signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Osarodion Ogie, requested the House to screen and confirm the nominee as the Chief Judge of the state. Presenting the reports of the committee before the House, said that Justice Okumbowa was found to be educationally qualified and physically fit to hold the position. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moina today visited Ikorekpene Senatorial District to appreciate the stakeholders and people of the district for their support, which culminated to his emergence as governor of the state. Speaking during the event held at the country home of the political leader of Ikorekpene Senatorial District, Obong Michael Apfagide, the governor, who noted parliamentarians in the state will benefit from his government, as he will ensure that they are touched with projects. In his remarks on behalf of Uyo Senatorial District, Senator Effiong Bob, who commended the people of Ikorekpene Senatorial District for their role they played during the recently concluded polls, stated that the visit was in fulfillment of the promise made by the governor that he would appreciate the people once elected. Also speaking on behalf of the stakeholders of the senatorial district, Senator Emmanuel Ibok Esin thanked the governor for keeping to his words and assured him of their unflinching support throughout his government. On his part, the immediate past deputy governor of the state, Moses Ekpo, thanked Governor Eno for the honor done them and assured him that the senatorial district will work and hand over to Ikorekpene Senatorial District after his 8-year tenure. High point of the event was the presentation of gifts to the governor, his wife, and the deputy, Akone Yayi, in appreciation for their recognition of the has expressed appreciation to his colleagues in the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Governors Forum for the honor done him, having successfully convened the first meeting of the forum in the current political dispensation, saying that the gesture is an appreciation and expression of the confidence bestowed on him by his colleagues. Governor Eno was speaking on the recent meeting of PDP Governors Forum held at the Akwa Ibom Lodge, Abuja, during his interaction with Government House correspondent on his arrival at Victor Atta International Airport, Uyo. He ascribed the gesture to the good foundation laid by his predecessors and commended their thoughtfulness for setting, thanks them for honoring the invitation for the meeting, which he said had enabled them chart a way forward for the forum. He, however, posited that his background in the hospitality industry has given him the leeway to host the forum. And still to come in the news, U.S. inflation rate falls more than expected. Do stay with us. Many thanks for still being there. Now to the rest of the stories. Moving now to Africa, where former Zimbabwe government minister Saviour Kasukuwere, who sought to challenge President Emerson Mnangagwa in upcoming election, has been barred from contesting. A Harare High Court judge has invalidated Kasukuwere's application to contest as an independent candidate mere weeks after the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission accepted his registration papers. Lawyer Lovedale Mangangwana challenged the body's decision in court, arguing that Kasukuwere was no longer a registered voter, a criterion for a candidate, as he had lived outside Zimbabwe for longer as a ZANU-PF political commissar and Minister of Youth and Indigenization in the ex-president's government. He fled the country in the aftermath of the military coup that ushered President Emerson Mnangagwa to power in 2017. He returned briefly in 2018, but fled again to South Africa, citing political persecutions. And still in Africa, 53 children have been rushed to hospital in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, after falling unconscious when tear gas was thrown into their class by police during protests. Have been able to stabilize the children, who have been at the hospital for about 4 hours. There have been protests around the country called by the opposition over the rising cost of living. 2 people are reportedly to have died as protesters stormed a police station and torched it, and another man died after a police van was attacked along the Nairobi Expressway in Lungogo on the outskirts of the city. Meanwhile, opposition leader Raila Odinga has called off a rally that he was told was to hold at the Kumakuji grounds in Nairobi suburb, citing police shootings, assault and harassment of his supporters. Transport and business have been disrupted around the country. Meanwhile, the lawyer for a senior opposition politician in Senegal says his client has been charged over comments he made about President Macky Sall. Birame Souleye Diop was arrested following remarks he made suggesting the president might roll back on his commitment not to stand for a third term in next year's elections. President Sall ruled out running for re-election earlier this month following widespread protest. Meanwhile, Diop is an MP with the PASTEF party, whose leader Ousmane Sonko was handed a 2-year prison sentence in June, making him ineligible to stand the presidential elections, where the United Nations has warned today that Black women throughout the Americas, and in particular childbirth, according to a damning new report by the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, reviewing 9 countries in the Americas, maternal mortality among women of African origin is alarmingly high, both in absolute terms and when compared to non-Black and non-indigenous women in the region. The study drew on data from Brazil, Colombia, Costa Rica, Cuba, sharpest in the United States, where non-Hispanic African women and girls are 3 times more likely to die while pregnant or within 6 weeks of giving birth than the country's non-Hispanic white women. And still on the foreign scene, Russia today said it had collected more than 2,000 pieces of military hardware from the Wagner mercenary group drones overnight in a second consecutive night of attacks on the capital Kyiv, as NATO leaders meet with President Volodymyr Zelensky in Vilnius. And meanwhile, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, in a joint press conference with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, has said that Putin's victory in the Russia-Ukraine war is the biggest risk to NATO. Stoltenberg, while highlighting the threat of the conflict to Europe's security landscape, said the biggest risk would be if Russian President Vladimir Putin won the war in Ukraine. He added that it is important for NATO allies to support Ukraine in winning the war against the Russian forces. And still on the foreign scene, President Joe Biden has declared a state of emergency in Vermont after torrential downpours triggered life-threatening flash floods. The move frees up federal government resources to support the state, which was expected to see more heavy rains yesterday. Reports say roads in some areas are entirely underwater and people have been left trapped in their homes. Emergency teams are said to have already performed dozens of rescues. Parts of the northeastern U.S., including New York and Vermont, have seen some of the most severe floodings in more than a decade in recent days. Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden hailed Ukraine's courage today in talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who set aside earlier frustrations with NATO to profusation of sorts of Ukraine last year, was acting like something out of the 14th century. Following tensions at the Vilnius summit over NATO's rejection of Ukraine's pressure to be given accelerated membership in the alliance, Biden acknowledged the frustration sometimes felt by Zelensky. Biden highlighted commitments announced today by the G7 group of wealthy democracies to provide Ukraine extended military and economic support while its NATO bid is held up by the war against Russian invasion. Zelensky, who caused a stir on Tuesday with an angry tweet criticizing NATO's refusal to set a clear membership timeline, went out of his way at the meeting with Biden to express gratitude for the massive U.S. support during the war. In the meantime, now former President of the United States Donald Trump can be held liable for derogatory comments he made about a woman who accused him of rape. The U.S. Department of Justice said its lawyers previously argued Trump was legally immune as he was president when he made the remarks in 2019. But government attorneys said they no longer had sufficient basis to conclude Trump had acted within the scope of his duties. According to reports, the decision boosts Asian Carroll's defamation lawsuit against Trump. It would be recalled that in May, Trump was ordered to pay the former magazine columnist $5 million after being found liable for $1 million from Trump in a defamation lawsuit, which is due to go to trial in January. And elsewhere now, Cyprus said today that for the first time in years, the number of migrants it is repatriating has outpaced those seeking asylum on the eastern Mediterranean island. The EU member state argues it is a frontline country in terms of migrant arrivals, with asylum seekers now making up 5% of its population of 915,000, a record for the bloc. Cyprus has over the past year accelerated efforts to repatriate illegal residents and rejected asylum seekers to multiple countries within and outside the European Union. It said that 2,381 asylum applications were submitted between April and June, and that during the same quarter, countries of origin. Meanwhile, human rights groups have in recent years criticized Cyprus for squalid conditions in its main migrant reception camp, which has been badly overcrowded and rocked by violent clashes, and which is being upgraded with EU funding. Meanwhile, the European Union's Parliament has backed a major plan to protect nature and fight climate change in a cliffhanger vote that had the 27-nation bloc's global green credentials at stake. Reports say after weeks of intense lobbying against the T plan, the legislature still supported the general outlines of a European Commission bill in a razor-thin 324/3112 vote with 12 abstentions. Meanwhile, the plan is a key part of the EU's voted European Green Deal that seeks to establish the world's most ambitious climate and biodiversity targets and make the bloc the global point of reference on all climate issues.
Challenges at the moment.
We do not have all the answers yet. Today is the start of a journey. But this is Europe's man on the moon moment. The European Green Deal is on one hand our vision for a climate-neutral continent in 2050, and it's on the other hand a very dedicated roadmap to this goal. It's kind of 50.
And it's now time for the latest business and stock market stories. Here is Blessing Dixon.
Journey.
Thank you. Good evening. It's another business day. My name is Blessing Dixon. In the news, we begin with U.S. economy. The annual inflation rate in the U.S. slowed to 3% in June of 2023, the lowest since March of 2021, and compared to 4% in May and the expectations of 3.1%. The slowdown is partly due to a high base effect from last year when a surge in energy and food prices pushed the headline inflation rate to 1981 highs of 9.1%. Energy costs slumped in May with prices falling for fuel oil, gasoline, and utility gas services. Electricity prices increased by 5.4%. Also, inflation slowed for food and shelter in May. Smaller prices increases were also recorded for new vehicles, apparel, and transportation services. The cost of medical services was down 0.8%. The core inflation rate dropped to 4.8%, the lowest since October of 2021. The energy market. Nigeria's price Brent crude futures rose nearly 1% to $80.50 a barrel on Wednesday, hovering at the highest levels in over 2 months as investors welcome signs of cooling inflation in the U.S., depicting less monetary tightening from the Feds. At the same time, a weaker dollar and optimism that Chinese authorities will unveil further measures to boost growth and signs that Russian crude output is starting to decrease also supported the oil market. Vessel tracking data showed that shipments passing through Russia's western ports in the 4 weeks to July 9th dropped substantially, more than 4 months after the OPEC producer was due to slash output, according to reports. Saudi Arabia and Russia announced additional production cuts for August. On the other hand, data showed U.S. crude inventories unexpectedly surged by 5.95 million barrels last week, the first add in 4 weeks, and way higher than market forecast of 0.483 million increase. Moving on. Shareholders of First Bank of Nigeria Holdings lost about 8% of their investment today as the rift between Oba Otudeco and other majority shareholders took a toll on the firm. According to the stock market performance of First Bank of Nigeria Holdings, the company's share fell to 19 naira 80 kobo from 21 naira 50 kobo per share. As reported, Otudeco acquired 4.77 billion shares of a firm last week, handing him a 13.3% stake in the company. This made him the largest shareholder above Femi Otedola, the largest shareholder in 2021, Hassan Odukale, and Mike Adenugar. The board fed losses of jobs and a reshuffle of the board, which Otudeco previously led as chairman before he was sacked by the Central Bank of Nigeria for sacking the current managing director and chief executive officer of the banking subsidiary First Bank. Meanwhile, EcoBank has warned First Bank of Nigeria Holdings against approving the investor as their largest shareholder, accusing him of owing 13.5 billion naira, declaring that First Bank was reported. It's time for the Nigerian stock market report. The all-share index plummeted 1,622.36 basis points, a 2.47% decline to close at 64,046.93 points, halting 5 consecutive sessions of advances. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is 34.9 trillion naira. 120 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 12 gainers and 63 losers. Courtville Business Solutions led the gainers with 10% share price appreciation, closing at 88 kobo per share. On the losing side, First Bank of Nigeria Holdings came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 10% at 19 naira 35 kobo per share. United Bank for Africa recorded the highest volume of 178 million traded shares. This is all on business news. Back to you for the rest of the news.
Many thanks, Blessing Dixon, for that report. And still to come in the news. The Tigers beat Gabon, qualify for quarterfinals. Do stay with us. Many thanks for still being there. In health, the Society for Family Health has called for the expansion of the provision of family planning services in Nigeria and other West African countries through the private sector. The organization made the call in a statement issued by its Deputy Medical Director, Strategy and Technical, Jennifer Anyonti. Anyonti commended the federal and state government's commitments for scaling family planning services, adding that the organization supports the provision of quality service provision and products through its network of primary care providers. According to her, the private sector plays a critical role in family planning and contributes to the total market approach to providing services. Antonio Guterres says advancing gender equality, improving maternal health, and empowering women to make their own reproductive choices are critical and crucial to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Speaking during an event, Guterres said gender-based discrimination harms everyone, stressing the need to promote gender equality, provide education for all, empower women to make informed choices about their reproductive health, and invest in health care. He noted that gender equality is not only a fundamental human right, but a necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous,
Well, thank you very much, Janice. In sports, basketball particularly, Nigeria's male basketball team, the D Tigers, returned to winning ways today with a comfortable 71-55 victory over Gabon. After securing a win over Mali in the opening game, Angola defeated the D Tigers in the second match to play a classification game against Gabon for the quarterfinal ticket. The Nigerian side bounced strongly on Wednesday to reach the quarterfinals of the championship after handing a defeat to the senior national basketball team of Gabon. The two were tied to 18-18 at the end of the first quarter, but the D Tigers stayed clear in the second way with a 25-15 win. They extended the lead in the third quarter with 15-13 before wrapping up in the final quarter 15-8. Nigeria would face the 2019 champions DR Congo in the next match. In tennis, the defending champion Elina Ribery to win 6-7, 5-7, 6-4, 6-1 in the reverse of the match 12 months ago. The Tunisian clinched the second set with a timely break of serve at 5-4 and then dominated the decider. Jabba would next play Aryna Sabalenka in the semi-finals tomorrow after she powered past Madison Keys. Sabalenka beat Madison Keys 6-2, 6-4, keeping alive her hopes of winning her first Wimbledon title and replaced Iga Swiatek as world number 1. Rebekina's exit means there is guaranteed to be a first-time women's singles champion this year. Jabba was far more aggressive than she was last year against a player known for her powerful shot-making, with the Tunisian hitting 35 winners to Rebekina's 21. Rebekina had only lost serve once in the entire tournament before the quarterfinal, but the Kazakh was to put under pressure by Jabba. Well, in football, Nottingham Forest defender Harry Toffolo has been charged by the Football Association for breaching its betting rules. It is alleged he breached the FA rules which ban players from placing bets or passing on information that could be used for betting 375 times between 22nd of January 2014 and 18th of March 2017. He was signed to Norwich City at the time and played on loan for Swindon, Rotherham, Peterborough and Scunthorpe. Toffolo has until 19th of July to respond. It comes after Brentford striker Ivan Toney was banned for 8 months in May after admitting to 232 breaches of FA's betting rules. Toney, who's 27, was initially charged in November 2022 and missed out a place in Gareth Southgate's 26-man World Cup squad for the 2022 World Cup. However, Toney's ban was reduced to 11 months to 8 because of a diagnosed gambling addiction, and he would not be allowed to play until 17th of January 2024. Well, finally, from the home scene, Al Nassr have been banned from registering new players by FIFA after failing to pay Leicester City's payments they owe for signing Ahmed Musa. The Saudi Pro League side, which exploded in popularity when they signed Cristiano Ronaldo last season, have also added Marcelo Brozovic to their ranks, while the likes of Hakim Ziyech have also been linked to the club. However, they would not be able to bring in the Moroccan international or anyone else due to the ban on registering new players. The ban is due to the signing of Musa from Leicester City in 2018, with Al Nassr initially shelling out £14 million for the forward. Ahmed Musa would go on to play 60 times for the Saudi side, winning the Pro League, and FIFA have ruled that Al Nassr have failed to pay Leicester £390,000 plus interest in add-ons that were agreed in the 2018 transfer. The ruling stated that the ban would last for 3 registration periods, but Al Nassr are hoping to curtail it by making the payment to the Foxes in the near future. But that's it on sports. My name is Isaac. Over now to Simon Oko for entertainment news.
Why, thank you, Isaac. In the world of entertainment, veteran Nollywood actress Cynthia Okereke is dead. Announcing the unfortunate incident on Wednesday today in an Instagram post, popular actor and filmmaker Joseph Okechukwu stated that Okereke died last night. Sharing the actress's picture, Okechukwu said that he was about to pay for Cynthia's flight ticket to come to America before her death. Away from that now, Oyo State Magistrate Court, sitting in Iyagangu, Ibadan, has ordered skit maker Abdullahi Maruf Adisa, popularly known as Trinity Guy, to remain in prison till the 31st of August. It was reported that the Oyo State Police Command had in June summoned the Trinity Guy following his controversial prank video with a minor. He was later arraigned on 2-count charges of conspiracy, sexual abuse, and exploitation alongside June, ordered the skit maker to be remanded alongside the parents of the little girl in the prank video till July 11th. During the second hearing on Tuesday, the magistrate further extended the remand of Trinity and the parents of the child in the Agodi prison. He adjourned the case till the 31st of August for further hearing. Her sudden weight gain after fans expressed concerns. The reality star had taken to her Twitter handle recently to share some photos of her new look, but her massive weight gain caught the attention of fans. The fans trooped to the comment section to express concerns, the result of a health condition. The star did not disclose the ailment, but added that she would recover very soon. In the international scene, American singer and one half of a hip-hop duo Race Raymond, Sway Lee, has revealed that he is partly a Nigerian. The rapper made the revelation while clarifying why he attached the Nigerian flag to a tweet, announcing he was jumping on the South African genre Amapiano wave. Sway Lee had taken to Twitter to announce he would be experimenting with the trending South African genre Amapiano, but added a Nigerian flag to the tweet. which didn't sit down the origin of Amapiano and wrongly crediting Nigeria. But however, Swaley clarified in follow-up tweets that his initial tweet was misunderstood. According to him, he added that the Nigerian flag because he is partly Nigerian. Still in the international scene, an escalating legal battle between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie over Chateau Miraval, a French winery they used to own together, has resulted in a new court filing that accuses Pitt of acting like a petulant child after Jolie sold her share of the venture. Jolie's former investment company, Nouvellanier, Yuri Scheffler, is suing Pitt for at least $350 million. Novell accuses Pitt of stripping and looting Chateau Miraval, a lush estate in Provence that produces rose, to its assets by wasting company money on frivolous renovations. The court filing further adds that Pitt spent nearly €1 million a year constantly rebuilding stone walls using stone masons from Croatia. Novell's lawyer claimed that Pitt's misconduct escalated in 2021 after Jolie decided to sell the investment company and her share of the winery to Tenut Del Mondo, a subsidiary of Stoli Group, which is owned by Scheffler. Pitt originally sued Jolie for selling her share of the winery in February 2022, kicking off their legal battle. He claimed that the pair agreed they will sell their stakes in Chateau Miraval separately, only with the other's consent. Jolie filed a countersuit claiming she sold her portion of the winery to gain greater financial independence from Pitt. Following their 2006 negotiations to sell her part of the winery to Pitt broke down after he insisted the sale include the signing of a non-disclosure agreement that would have contractually prohibited her from speaking outside of court about Pitt's physical and emotional abuse of her and their children. And that's it on entertainment. My name is Simon Oko. Back to the news.
And that's all we have for you at this moment. Do well to follow us across all our social media platforms and ensure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website at spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 9. My name is Janice Cobham. Do you have a good night?